Shrutismritipurāṇānaṁ Ālayam Karuṇālayam Namāmi Bhagavadpādam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankarācharyam Keshavam Badarāyanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururātmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehāya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashivasamaramбhaṁ Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Te Guru-paramparam Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we were looking at verse number 6. We'll start at 7 also, I think. So verse number 6. He says, Etani apitu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyaniti me partha nishchitam matam uttamam. So some people, so he mentioned that some people think that even yajna dana tapak karma, they have to be given up. So they have to be discarded. And you should stop doing all karma. But Lord Krishna says that's not a good idea. So yajna, dana, tapak, karma are necessary in the context of Chitta Shuddhi, which everyone needs. There is no one who doesn't need Chitta Shuddhi. So if not at the surface level, if it is not very obvious, so if I mean, on appearance, one seems okay, but still there are issues lying underneath. So the subconscious and conscious issues are there. And one has to process and then deal with them. This is inevitable for every human being. So how do you do that? So for that, yajna, dana, tapak, karma are the tools that are provided for Chitta Shuddhi. So yajna, dana, tapak, karma should not be given up, especially for a karma yogi. So we're talking about a tyagi here. So for a karma yogi, yajna, dana, tapak, karma should not be given up. That's what he says. Sangam tyaktva phalanicha. But don't be desperate for enjoying the results of yajna, dana, tapak, karma. So the intention with which one does yajna, dana, tapak, karma also is important. So I do some prayer, but prayer is meant for some selfish gain. Then it is not a good idea. But do prayer without any selfish gain, just for Chitta Shuddhi. Same for tapas, dana, and tapas, and any other activity. So the bottom line here is that the intention with which I do karma becomes most critical. So the karma comes later, the activity comes later, but the intention for which I alone am responsible. So no one else has a say over over the intention with which I do any activity. So I can modify it and without help from anyone else. So this is really change from within. So outwardly you can still be doing the same thing. But inwardly, the intention for which you do it, if that change happens, so then that is real change from within. So that is what contributes towards Chitta Shuddhi and later Jnana Prapti. So I have the complete power to change myself, change my intention. So no one else can stop me from doing that. So this is what he's saying here. Sangam tyaktva phalani cha kartavyani iti me partha nishchitam matamattama. So I do it with the intention that this needs to be done very happily, cheerfully. This needs to be done for my own sake, not for anyone else's sake. So yajnadana tapakarma, I do it for myself. So karma duties. So all of it, I'm not trying to satisfy anyone here. So I'm not even trying to satisfy Ishvara. So I do it because they are the most powerful tools provided to me for my own Chitta Shuddhi. So I do it very willingly. So if I don't work for Chitta Shuddhi now, I will have to come back and do it later. There is no escape. So why not do it now? So the other option is, okay, I will suffer now and then come back and work for Chitta Shuddhi. So why am I so insistent on suffering? So this becomes very essential for my own sake. The intention with which I do. I have to do, but the intention matters a lot. So this is what he says, Nishchitam Matam Uttamam. May. So this is my confirmed conviction, not even opinion. So this is my confirmed conviction. There is no doubt whatsoever. So when Lord Krishna says that, then it means something. So I better listen to that, take note of that. So this is a very clear, unambiguous statement from the part of Lord Krishna. So these have to be necessarily done with the right intention. So never complain. So why do I have to do this? So why do I have duties which are so difficult, so painful? So this is what I'm destined to go through. So I go through it cheerfully, but I transform it. I use it for something better. So that is what I can do. But giving up kamya karma, that has to be done. If not, if I cannot do it totally right away, but slowly reduce, and it has to be given up. So here we are talking about Nitya Naimittika and also Yajna Dana Tapak Karma, which become Nitya Naimittika. So Yajna Dana Tapak Karma. Every day you do prayer and then Dana, Tapas, so other duties, so that becomes Nitya Karma also. So verse number 7, he says, नियतस्य तु सन्यासः कर्मणः न उपपद्यते मोहात् तस्य परित्यागः तामसः परिकीर्तितः. So here next 3 verses, he's going to talk about three different varieties of tyaga. So first he says what tyaga is classified as tamasa tyaga. So renunciation is also renunciation of karma phala. So that is also of three varieties. See, these three verses I will tell you upfront. The first two verses may look like, that is verse number 7 and verse number 8. So they may look like he's talking about a sannyasi here. So they are little misleading. But no, he is only talking about a karma palatyagi, that is a karma yogi. So because when we look at it, there might be that confusion. Even Shankara acknowledges that. Shankaracharya acknowledges that and then says that no, it is not like that. So a lot of people apparently have been confused by these two verses. Because the reason is, we have seen earlier that tyaga means karma pala tyaga, and then sannyasa means vividisha sannyasa. So here it looks like these two verses look like they are talking about one who has given up activity, not karma pala tyaga. So it could be confusing, but it's not true. He's only talking about a karma pala tyagi, that is a karma yogi. Alone is being talked about in these three verses. We will look at that and then it will become clearer. So niyatasya sanyasaha, niyatasya karmanaha sanyasaha na upapadyate. So giving up all these activities that are necessarily to be done is not all right, is not done. So if you want to use an American expression. So giving up these activities is just not done. So that's what Lord Krishna is saying. So you have to do it, whether you like it or not. But don't evaluate through the prism of whether I like it or not like. Just do it. So do it because they are helpful. So niyatasya sanyasaha, niyatasya karmanaha sanyasaha na upadyate. It is not okay to give up these necessary activities. Mohat tasya parityagaha tamasaha parikirtitaha. So by giving them up, so by discarding them because of delusion, or just like that because you don't want to do it. So he says that is tamasatyaga. Tamasatyaga, whatever is tamasa is always not desirable. So here, tyaga done out of ignorance. So just stopping yajnadana tapak karma, giving up yajnadana tapak karma is tamasa. So without proper understanding is tamasa. So do not do that. Mohat tasya parityagaha tamasaha parikirtitaha. So that would be a tragedy. That would be a pity. And then next he talks about what is rajasa tyaga. So again in the previous words, so when he said tyaga, giving up tyaga. So I mean, in the beginning, or from a superficial standpoint, it may look like he's talking about sannyasa. Because that sannyasi only is giving up. Uh, Tyagi is not giving up, he is doing. So why is he using the word tyaga when he's talking about giving up? So again, here tyaga just means not doing it. So not doing yajnadana tapak karma, giving up yajnadana tapak karma would be tamasa for a karma yogi. And verse number 8, he says, Dukkhamityeva yat karma kaya klesha bhayatyajet sakritva rajasantyagam naiva tyaga phalam labhet. So yat karma kaya klesha bhayat dukkham eva iti tyajet. So someone, he rejects this karma, yajna dana tapa karma, because they are too difficult to do. So you have to do some work. So you have to go through some difficulty. Prayer, there is some work to do, and it can be boring or it can be tiresome. So here is saying tiresome. So kaya klesha. So it can be tiresome. Dana also. If you do a lot of dana, then it can be tiring. So how long will I keep doing dana? So if one gives up because it is very tiring, that is, or because I have to do a lot of work, because there is too much trouble involved. So why go through all this trouble? I will just stop. I will just give up the activity. Lord Krishna talks about giving up. So let me just give up dana, give up tapas. Tapas is also difficult. Discipline is difficult. So let me give up tapas and let me give up other duties. So I just need a break from all of this. So let me give up all of this. Wanting a break is not a bad thing, but wanting a permanent break is not a good idea. So once in a while, everyone requires a break. So everyone wants to get away for some time and then so rejuvenate and come back. So that is fine. But here he is talking about permanent break. So taking a permanent break. So that is not a good idea. So kaya klesha bhayat dukkam ityeva. So either because it is too tiring or because it is troublesome. So don't give up, because you will be losing an opportunity to gain chitta shuddhi. And then when you want to really give up everything, when you're ready for sannyasa, then it will drop off automatically. So till then do it, but with the attitude of karma phala tyaga. So not being desperate for the result of what you do. So just do it for the sake of chitta shuddhi. So sakritva rajasam. Saha rajasam tyagam kritva tyagaphalam na eva labhe. So he says, if by giving up, you think you are avoiding trouble, unnecessary trouble, then unfortunately it is not so. Tyagaphalam na labhet. So you will not get the intended result of tyaga. So because by tyaga, what do I intend? So I want peace of mind, I want freedom. So that is the whole idea of pursuit of spirituality. So I want freedom, I want peace, I want to be happy. But here he says, if you just throw it away, you will not you will not get what you are desiring. So you will not get the peace you want, you will not get the freedom you want. So you will only be troubled by your own your own inner demons, and you will not get what you really seek. So this is tyaga phalam na labhet. So you will not get what you are intending to get by tyaga, by doing tyaga. So this kind of tyaga is called rajasa because it is tiresome or it is boring or because there is too much trouble involved. Then verse number 9. कार्यमित्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियते अर्जुन संगं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव सत्यागः सात्विको मतः कार्यमित्येव. So here he's talking about satvika karma, satvika tyaga. So one who does this karma phala tyaga by doing what is to be done, karyam iti eva, by not avoiding what I have to do. See, if you are in a certain situation in your life, so you have to do certain things. So certain activities are enjoined on you. So you do it, but without being desperate for the result. Then that is real sattvika tyaga. So real karma phala tyaga is not giving up all karma. Real tyaga is only karma phala tyaga. So karyam iti eva. So that it has to be done. There is no escape. So there are things that we cannot run away from. So we may run away to the North Pole. So or to the deepest jungles of Africa, but I cannot run away from myself. So what the karma that I carry with me, the impressions, the vasanas that I carry with me, that will always come along with me. So wherever I run. So it is better to be there and then do what is to be done. So fight the good fight. So that is what is advised here. So there are some fights that are helpful, necessary. So fight the good fight. So karyam ityeva yad karma niyatam kriyate. Yad niyatam karma kriyate. Whatever karma is enjoined upon me. So whatever karma has been destined, I have been destined to do. Hey Arjuna, sangam tyaktva, not being attached to that karma. So this is what Lord Krishna has been talking about throughout the Bhagavad Gita. So starting from karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan, ma karma phala heturbhuhu ma te sangaha astu akarmani. So here also he is saying that because 18th chapter is like a summary. It's not something new. So that means how important it is in the context of the person Lord Krishna is addressing also. So in front of him. So for Arjuna, the question was whether I should do it or whether I should just stay away from it. So that was the question. So Arjuna might have got the clue, might have got the answer from here. So if he just wants to stay away from it, then it is tamasa tyaga. If he wants to stay away from it because it is too tiresome or it is too troublesome, then it is rajasa tyaga. And in Arjuna's case, it was neither. So he was a little upset looking at all the people who are going to fight with him on the other side, from the other side. So he was upset, and he was never tired or he never shirked what he was supposed to do. In fact, he was one of the most highly accomplished people of that generation, of that era. So he didn't want to give up because it was troublesome. He was the greatest archer alive, other than Karna. And even quite late in his life, so he went to Swarga and then he learned dance. So dance and music from Urvashi. So no, not from Urvashi, from the celestial artist. So he learned, and then he used that in the Ajnatavasa. So in the 1 year period of being incognito. So he never was shirking work. He never was avoiding what he was supposed to do. So as far as Arjuna is concerned, Lord Krishna is saying that you are very much capable of doing sattvika tyaga. So the way it applies to each one of us is what kind of tyaga am I doing? So does sattvika tyaga apply to me? Am I doing it, but at the same time, not necessarily desiring the result? Or am I just avoiding it because it is too troublesome? So then I get a better idea about my own state of mind. So sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyagaha satvikaha mataha. So this kind of tyaga, by just not being desperate for the result, so that tyaga is satvik. And this is the most desirable as far as a tyagi is concerned. So that is why these three verses, definitely they are talking only about a tyagi. So earlier, first verse and second verse, it may look like they're talking about a sannyasi because it is giving. When you just understand it as giving up, then it may look like that is what it looked like to Shankaracharya also. So if it doesn't look like that to us, then it is good. So, but if it looks like that, then it is not true because it means only a tyagi. All these refer only to a tyagi. Because in the context, he was talking about yajna dana tapa karma and then giving up or doing yajna dana tapa karma and then continued with this. So it is a continuation from giving up yajna dana tapa karma with what intention I do it or give up. So that is why it is referring only to a tyagi. So verse number 10. न द्वेष्ट्यकुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टः मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. So here he says, na dveshti akushalam karma. So one who does not hate or despise karma that is inconvenient. So akushalam is inconvenient. It can be translated as inauspicious also, but it can be translated as inconvenient. So certain karma is inconvenient for me, but still I have to do it. So when I have to do it, I do it with the attitude that it is to be done. So a lot of things I have to do, even though I may not like it. So even in my own personal life or professional life, wherever. So I have to do it. But if I just do it with the attitude of with a detachment, not avoid it, but just do it with a certain detachment. That is what is advised. Na dveshti. Akushalam karma na dveshti. Kushale na anushajjate. So in things that are enjoyable, that are convenient, I don't get attached to them much. Because if I get attached to them, then I will crave for more. So if I crave for more, then my attitude goes toward trying to set up everything up in such a way that I'm only doing more of that. So that is also not a good idea. So sometimes you may like what you are doing, you may enjoy what you are doing. Sometimes one may not enjoy, but still they have to be done. Like dana, you feel good, but beyond a certain point, so it is difficult also. So there is difficulty involved, and in every other activity. So that is why not give too much importance to whether you like the karma or do not like the karma, but whether it is to be done or not to be done. So the choice has to be made based on whether it is to be done or not to be done, not on the basis of whether I like doing it or I do not like doing it. So that Lord Krishna said in the second chapter, Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayo. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva yoga karma sukosha. So sukha dukhe same kritva. So being undisturbed or um, unexcited in sukha and dukkha. Labha alabha. So gain or loss. Sukha dukkha, gain or loss. And jaya ajaya. So victory or defeat. So I retain the same kind of mind in all of this. It's very difficult. So it's not easy. So when you're successful, then it is natural to feel happy. You can feel happy also. We're not saying, Lord Krishna is not saying. So when you're successful in something, then you should pull a long face. So not even smile. So that's not what he's saying. When you're successful, you're entitled to be happy. You're allowed to be happy, but do not go overboard. So do not get too excited that you lose control over yourself. So and when you're not successful also, just take it in your stride. So don't allow yourself to be overpowered by victory or defeat, gain or loss, and pleasure or pain, sukha, dukkha. So same thing he's saying, Here in a slightly different way. Na dveshti akushalam karma, kushale na anushajjate. Akushalam karma na dveshti. So inconvenient karma, you do not avoid, hate, dislike. Kushale na anushajjate. So in auspicious karma, good karma, you don't get too attached to it. In that verse in the second chapter also use the same word. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. So here kushala. So kushala here, kaushalam there. So tyagi sattva samavishtaha. So this tyagi, who is an embodiment of sattva guna, sattva samavishtaha, who is sattva personified. Medhavi, he is a medhavi, he is a wise person. So this kind of a person is a wise person. And then chinna samshaya. So all his confusions are eradicated. Who has absolute clarity with regard to what life is. So, or in today's terminology, we can say who is completely sorted. So, someone who is completely sorted. So, this kind of a person, chinna samshayaha, who's really just like we see in the movies, like the hero is presented as he is completely sorted, who knows exactly what is to be done. So, and every move that he makes is the right thing, like a Rajinikanth. So he can have 100 people fighting against him. But every muscle he moves will be the right way. So everyone comes attacking at him with various weapons. But he avoids them very deftly. So this is how a real Tyagi is. This is a Medhavi. So there is so much karma that is thrown at me that I'm enjoying to do. But this Tyagi, so it handles all of them like a Rajinikanth. So, or like a Tom Cruise. It's not just in Indian movies, a Tom Cruise also. So you see Tom Cruise movies, they're just unbelievable. So what all he does, they are like 10 times higher level than Rajinikanth. Humanly, it is completely impossible. So Rajinikanth we may make fun of. So Talaivar, so he can never make a mistake. So Tom Cruise, it is just taken as entertainment. So, but Tom Cruise movies also completely unbelievable. So this Medha is like a Tom Cruise in real life. So Rajinikanth in real life. So this is what he says. Na dveshti akushalam karma. So do we not, do all of us do not want that? See, every move that you make, that's exactly the right move. We all want to be like that. So we all intend so that I'm completely sorted. I'm at peace with myself. I know exactly what choice I have to make. So he says a person who does not dislike inconvenient karma, does not crave for doing only convenient karma. So that person is a medhavi. That person is a chinna samshaya. He has absolutely no confusion whatsoever. Just imagine every day you get up and you get up with that kind of feeling. So, Chinna Samshaya, then Shankaracharya says, what kind of doubts has he got resolved? So, doubts with regard to the truth of oneself, whether I am time bound or I am timeless. So, whether I am limited to this body or I'm I'm not limited to the attributes of the body. So there is no doubt. Who I am, there is no doubt. So this can happen. So this kind of clarity can happen only if one has done enough Shravana Manana. Because Shravana Manana is a prerequisite for being a Chinna Samshaya. So otherwise, I will always be looking at myself as a limited person. Someone who is very inadequate, someone who has a lot of limitations. But this person is a Chinna Samshaya. And then this person also has no doubt whether this Atma is all pervasive or not. So that doubt is also not there. So whether I am all pervasive or my consciousness is only restricted to this body. So that kind of confusion is also not there. And whether my true nature is one of full of joy or whether sorrow is also part of my nature. So whether Atma is Ananda Swarupa. So that is the main teaching of the Shastra, that I am Ananda personified. And because of ignorance, I look at myself as unhappy. But really, Atma is Ananda, Satchit Ananda. So whether it is Ananda or whether there is Dukkha, so that confusion is also not there. And whether the Atma becomes a karta bhokta or it remains an akarta or bhokta. So Atma whether really gets involved in any of the activities. Atma never gets. So I get, because of my individuality, I assume that doership, kartritvam, and then the enjoyership. As far as the Atma is concerned, it doesn't care. But it allows you to be a karta bhokta and then suffer as a result of that. But if I want to be akarta bhokta, then abhokta, then that is my choice. So that confusion is also not there. And whether there is an Ishvara separate from myself, sitting somewhere, there is a God sitting somewhere. That confusion is also not there, because there is a God from the relative standpoint. There is an Ishvara. But the truth of that Ishvara is non-different from the truth of myself. So that is what really matters. So the Upadhi is only incidental Upadhi. So Ishvara may have a much bigger Upadhi, superior Upadhi, and I have a limited Upadhi. But the Upadhi is Mithya. The Upadhi is relative. So it's not absolute. So all these doubts are completely resolved for this person, for a Chinna Samshaya. So this is the person we are talking about. That's why I said this is a person who is completely sorted. Obviously, a Rajinikanth or Tom Cruise is not sorted like this. So they are just doing what they are asked to do on the screen. So director may be sorted, but he is not sorted. So after all the edits and cuts, so they are presented like that. So nowadays, earlier in movies, so if you look at these old movies, so 60s, the 50s and all that. So each shot was much longer duration. Nowadays, each shot is only a couple of seconds or 3 seconds. It's all in the mixing up. So it is just fooling people in the name of entertainment. So this person cannot even dance, but with all the cuts, you can present the person as though he is a wonderful dancer. So in real life, this person cannot even handle one fellow, fight one fellow. But on the movie, he will handle about 15 people with all these dangerous weapons at the same time. So that person is definitely not sorted. But here, if we are looking at becoming sorted, to becoming someone who is completely at peace or comfortable in my own skin. So then this is what it is. Na dveshti akushalam karma, na kushale na anushajyate. Tyagi sattva samavishtaha, medhavi chinna samshayaha. So this is a real wise person and he has no confusion whatsoever. That is why you can reach such a stage only after adequate Shravana Manana. So adequate knowledge. Otherwise, you cannot get there. So knowledge is the prerequisite. And then you work on it, do nididhyasanam, and then own it up. Because a lot of things go under the common umbrella of spirituality. So anyone who goes to a temple, sometimes many people who go to a temple, sometimes they call themselves spiritual. Just because I go to a temple, I do some service there. That is spirituality. So you do some pranayama or hatha yoga asana. Then you call yourself spirituality, spending time on spirituality. So, so many things go under the banner of spirituality. Or someone does some dhanam, so takes care of animals. So that also becomes spirituality, sort of spiritual activity. So as far as we are concerned, spirituality only means pursuit of knowledge. Everything else contributes towards this pursuit. But knowledge alone is the connecting thread between in and through all that I do. And it contributes towards changing my attitude towards whatever I do, wherever I do, whenever I do. So it is like they feed into each other. So activities are meant for assimilating knowledge, and knowledge contributes towards the attitude with which I do the activity. So that is why they are interconnected. So that's what he says here. Na dveshti akushalam karma kushale na anushajyate. Tyagi sattva samavishtaha medhavi chinna samshayaha. So this person is, re, is really a Paunch Gaya Mahatma. In Hindi, they say Paunch Gaya Mahatma. So one who has really made it. So someone who's really made it. So then verse number 11. Nahi dehabhrita shakyam tyaktum karmanyasheshatah yastu karma phala tyagi satyagi tyabhidiyate. So dehabhrita karmani asheshatah tyaktum na shakyam. So for one who is endowed with a body, it is impossible to completely avoid all karma. So he approaches it from a different angle here. So even if eventually giving up may be the goal, but as far as I am alive, it is impossible for me to stop all activity. I have to do something or the other. So at least for the sake of survival, I have to do. So it is impossible for anyone to avoid all activity permanently. So that is why. So better you do it with the right attitude. So dehabhrita karmani asheshatah tyaktum na shakyam. So that is why yaha tu karma phala tyagi saha tyagi iti abhidhiyate. So that is why one who does karma phala tyaga is called a tyagi. So because you cannot avoid karma, you have to necessarily do something or the other. So you can be called, the karma phala tyagi can be called a tyagi. And then this person is slowly giving up the doership. So kartritva. Sarva karma sannyasa, that is for someone who has already made it. So this is all talking about someone who is getting there. But a sarva karma sannyasi, about whom Lord Krishna already said that I will not talk about him. So sarva karma sannyasi, we mean a jnani. A sannyasi is a vividisha sannyasi. Sarva karma sannyasi is a vidvat sannyasi. So Lord Krishna has said in the 12th chapter also, because that is not a person who needs to be talked about. Let us just leave that person alone. He knows what he is doing. So he doesn't need much help. We have to get there. So we will only talk about these two categories of people, Vividisha Sannyasi and a Karma Palatyagi. So here Karma Palatyagi, so you give up karma that, you give up the karma phala. That person alone is called a tyagi. Dehabhrata karmani asheshatah tyaktum na shakyam. So this is a fact of life. So you can run to Rishikesh or you can run anywhere else. So then you start looking for Bandara tickets. So in Rishikesh, there are these ashrams. So you need to have food. So you will feel hungry. So with these ashrams, people, they serve Bandara. They host Bandaras. So Bandaras means they call all the people, all the sadhus, brahmacharis also. And then they feed them. lunch. And you feed them, and then they are given some dakshina also. So dakshina based on the capacity of the person who is hosting the bandara. If that person is a very rich person, then sometimes you may get 500 rupees, 1000 rupees dakshina also. Each person, for 150, 200 people, each person will get 1000 rupees. And and if that person is not that well off, that person will give something, 100 rupees, 200 rupees, like that. So the ashrams give out tickets. So give out tickets, and then you can go to that Bandara only if you have the ticket. You cannot go uninvited. So you get the ticket and then you go to that Bandara and eat. So if you are in Rishikesh and you don't have anything to fall back upon, so then you are looking at who's giving ticket. So how do I get the ticket? So for the Bandara. So that is what the mind starts thinking. That is how the mind starts working. So and then if you get two tickets, then you start evaluating. So here the dakshina may be more. Here it is little less dakshina. So I might as well go to this place. Or sometimes what happens is here the food is good, but dakshina is less. So there the food is not good, but dakshina is more. So what choice do I make? So this is all karma only. So whether you go to Rishikesh or you go anywhere else, unless you are a Ramana Maharshi, so you just quit and you sit in dhyanam for 11 years or 12 years. So that is an exceptional case. That is a Sarva Karma Sannyasi. So Lord Krishna is saying that he's not even in contention here. So we are not even considering it. So he's not a reference point. Ramana Maharshi is not a reference point. So, so Ramana Maharshi is someone who we just respect, and then we hope we will get there at some point. So he's not an ordinary person. So karma necessarily is there wherever I go. I cannot escape. So that's why he says deha brita shakyam. If you are thinking of giving up karma and just living, it is impossible. Lord Krishna has made a very conclusive statement here that it is not possible for you. So might as well accept your situation wherever you are. Accept your situation and then do it cheerfully for Chitta Shuddhi. That's why he said, Yaha tu karma pala tyagi saha tyagi iti abhidhiyate. Accepting situation also has to be done judiciously. So sometimes I may have run away and then say that, and then not doing what I'm supposed to do, and then say that I have accepted my situation. So the decision to run away was also made by you. And then you are saying that I am just accepting my situation, then that is not acceptable. So, so it cannot be uh, a convenient accepting of whatever decision I take. So because running away also I do because I'm not able to handle it. So there are some people who run away from the place of birth. So chasing something, money or possession or power or whatever. And then go there and say that I have accepted my situation. That is not correct accepting of situation. So you have to be there and do what is to be done So you have run away. I mean, actually, there are so many parents in their old age, they're really left to fend for themselves. So there are a lot of these children who have just run away. And then they send money. Money is useless. So they need to be cared for also. So I'm not saying parents also, sometimes they are to blame. So it is both ways. So because that also helps in dealing with my own kashaya. So dealing with my own vasanas, all of that helps. So doing what I'm supposed to do, whether it is for my parents or for people who are very close to me. So I have to do what is to be done. So running away is not an option. So karma phala tyaga is the ideal choice. Yaha tu karma phala tyagi saha tyagi iti abhidhiyate. One who does what is to be done, and as long as one is alive and does not avoid, so that person is a real tyagi. So we'll stop here and continue. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.